got a lot of people out there. Misery love company.
Yes,
Remember
they do.
that, people. Remember that for this brunch. Misery love company, and so they don't want to see you happy. Okay, they want to see you beat down because they behinds was beat down. You see, I censored
Listen.
myself. I didn't say that other word.
Oh, what other word? Let me get it out of you. Let me stop.
ASS. They ASS was beaten down, and
Yes.
they don't want you to be happy. So they try to, you come to them for advice, and they give you the wrong advice on purpose.
Oh, yes.
The
Yes.
wrong advice on purpose because they don't want to see you happy. Why should you be living better than them? You got to be careful of those people, okay? We're talking
They
about
will be your own relative,
listen, your own relative,
neighbor, whatever.
neighbor, all of them.
All of them. Go ahead. Yeah, you should make
Yeah.
it work with
Go make
so-and-so
it.
who's
Come
acting a
on.
fool.
Come on. Welcome to the Brunch with Kiki and Casey podcast, where we're serving up real, raw, empowering food and drink for thought while chatting about life, relationships, and providing perspectives which could make a difference in your life now. My name is Casey.
And I'm Kiki.
And we are so excited to have you as our weekly brunch guest and share great conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our very first podcast episode, and it's been a long time coming, but we're here. Kiki.
Yes.
We are doing this. So, just to give you all a little background about us, we've been friends for several years now, and our friendship was built on working together, going out on what we refer to as food adventures.
Food adventures.
That's right. And having great conversations along with some very strong drinks. Through this time, we've grown very accustomed to speaking very candidly about a lot of different things. Hilarious things, outrageous things, but we also enjoy discussing various social issues and topics as well. But one thing we've always said to one another time and time again is that other people could definitely benefit from the conversations we have. Not just to be entertained, but to actually learn something which could positively enhance their current life situation. So for us, this podcast is the best way to share with you the two major things we love to do together: eat great food and have open and honest yet fun, thought-provoking conversations.
Absolutely. And here's how our podcast works. Every month, we will focus on a specific series, and each week we will discuss a specific subject within that series. With each series, we will let you in on our very lively and candid brunch conversations that, again, will be based on a wide range of topics.
Right.
So, this month's topic is titled Brain Viagra, the Get Your Mind Right series. I know, right. Brain Viagra sounds a little crazy. So, we broke down this particular series by the following categories. We have week 1, which is focusing on the individual self. Week 2 is focusing on our friendships. Week 3 focuses on romantic relationships. And week 4 focuses on family.
Now, before we get into the first topic in this series, we want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast. Share it with your family and friends, co-workers, or whomever you like. We're always dropping gems, and you never know who could benefit from what we discuss. Also, please remember to click on the link in the show notes section of the podcast, or if you're listening to us on YouTube, click on the link in the comment section to get your free copy of the major points that we discuss in every podcast episode. This way, if you're listening to us while driving or multitasking, you don't have to worry about missing any of the major points that we're putting down just for you. Also, please feel free to leave a comment and let us know what you learned from this particular episode. We'd love to interact with you, so we are definitely looking forward to hearing from you. And now, let's start today's brunch off with our question of the day. Kiki, what question do you have for us today?
All right, as I sip my wine, our question of the day is, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the term brain Viagra?
Brain Viagra. Well, you know, a lot of things come to mind. Okay, we know what Viagra is.
Yes.
And we have an idea of what Viagra does, what it's supposed to do. So when you put the brain with the Viagra, it's kind of like, what the heck? But you know, it has to do with something, making your mind straight,
Getting it hard,
harder,
making it work.
Ooh,
So it can lay
like
down some things.
Make your brain work so you can
lay it down.
So you can lay something down. There's a lot of people out there laying nothing down, but that's another conversation for another day. But yes, you know what? It's even though it may not sound, too politically correct, but it makes a great point. Okay, What does it mean to get your mind right? What does it mean to get your mind stronger?
Yes.
Erected.
Working, functioning
well.
Satisfying your life.
Bring
Viagra. Right. But that's just the point. To get your mind right with some brain Viagra.
Get your mind right. That's right.
So that you could be able to recognize when you are not being your own best friend.
Ooh, you hit something right there.
What I hit?
You hit something because you know what? There's a lot of people out there that, you tell them, hey, you gotta love yourself. You have to be your own best friend. Some people are probably like, what does that even mean? But what does it mean when you're not being your own best friend? When you're not being good to yourself? What does that mean? And a lot of people, I don't think that many people take the time to really think about that. And if they have thought about it, they're thinking about it in other ways that may not necessarily go to the heart of them taking stock of themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. When we thinking about being your best friend, there are different ways to do that, and there are different things to take into consideration. And one of the first things that we really want to focus on is your health.
Yes.
Yep. Are you making sure that you are taking care of your physical and your mental health? Are you allowing yourself to continuously do certain things that are not healthy for you?
Yes. And yes, I agree. Why do people keep going out and eating the same greasy chicken from the same place till the people know their name? You know who you are out there. You eating the same Chinese food every night. You going through the drive-thru at Burger King, eating in your car.
Oh, shoot.
You all out today. Stop eating in your car. Stop going to these greasy spoon chicken places, greasing up your arteries every day, talking about the chicken is good. Anyway.
Go on to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, well, we enjoy
Chick-fil-A.
That Chick-fil-A, Jesus, peace.
Oh,
that was the... Yes, I'm guilty too. That's what I'm trying to say. I am guilty. I'm calling out all the things that I have done. I'm not judging.
Yes.
I'm judging. But I am also a part of the hot messity for which I once was not taking care of, making my health a priority, and sitting there eating all that stuff and acting like it's not doing anything to your cholesterol, and you're getting high blood pressure and diabetes, and I'm calling it all out there.
Oh, well, we got to think about the people that can't put the bottle down.
Yeah.
Are you drinking to mask something? Are you letting your health suffer because you're trying to hide something that you don't want to face?
Yeah.
And then, of course, that means you're not being your best friend for two reasons. One, you're not taking care of your health, but then you're also not facing things. But we'll get to that part.
Yes.
About that, we'll get to that part further along. And the next thing, the second point would be your self-esteem.
Yes.
Are you allowing yourself to have self-destructive behavior, self-sabotaging behavior? Are you consciously or subconsciously sabotaging yourself? Are you
Yes.
creating self-imposed obstacles? Making up
Yes.
stuff that's not even there because you are already feeling low about yourself. That you're
Yes.
creating this challenge of why you can't do something
Mm-hmm.
because you just feel low about yourself.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't even realize when they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize. Yeah, I'm doing this to myself. Well, people are always. It's easier, I think, for some people to think about self-esteem somehow another person beating them down in a way. And I'm not always talking physical,
Yeah.
but even emotionally. So it's kind of easier sometimes for people to think, well, I don't let anyone mistreat me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you have things that you may be doing in which you're mistreating yourself,
Mm-hmm.
which exposes self-esteem, which could be very low, dangerously low.
Yes.
Um, and therefore you end up doing things, putting yourself in situations, and consciously, whether you know you're doing it, or subconsciously, whether you don't even realize in the moment that you're doing it, and you don't even take the time to sit down and say, well, why am I doing this?
This is true. And then there's a other element of self-esteem where a person may automatically assume that if a person is, kind of not depressed, but they kind of have this low way of thinking of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that automatically that means it's a self-esteem problem. A person that's kind of doubtful of themselves automatically is just that type of person that has an issue with self-esteem. But there's the flip side of it. There's the person that is extremely cocky, who may actually have low self-esteem. They're masking it under this superiority complex of, look at me, I'm the greatest thing that ever landed on earth.
Yes.
But that is just simply them masking their true self-esteem issues.
Yes. Yes. Oh wow, there's a lot of people out there like that, and it's important, I think, just like you said, to recognize that part of it too.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people miss that because they think the person is confident.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with confidence, but like you said, there's a difference between being cocky, and just having confidence because you need to have confidence to do certain things. So yeah, absolutely.
And what the issue that comes from that is you're pushing away people that actually want to be in your corner with this extreme level of cockiness, this arrogance about you. The people that want to be there for you, that you may actually deep down inside want them to be there for you, you're pushing them away because you're just being so arrogant.
Yes. Yes.
And
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
That was pretty much where I was going with it. I was going to, repeat, like, that is something that can push people away. But, go on, my friend, what you was going to say?
No, I was just wondering, sometimes I really wonder and think to myself, like, how did that person get to that level? And so, the only thing that I can think of are different examples that I've witnessed in my life. And we think about maybe sometimes it's the way that the person has grown up. For some reason, and when I say that, I'm not saying that the person had to have a hard life.
That's true.
There's a lot of people that live very quote unquote charmed lives. They pretty much got everything they wanted, which is a part of the problem.
Yes, it is.
So I feel like it can come from either spectrum. Some people who you did not grow up with a lot, so maybe when you achieve a little in your adult years, you say, oh my goodness, like you're really feeling yourself like a little bit much. And then you have some people who they've gotten everything that they've wanted. They've really never had to struggle for anything. They've always, 2-parent household, whatever we want to call it, charm life, and they kind of just don't even appreciate what they have to such a level that nothing is like impressive to them or means anything. And I just feel like there are definitely people that come from both sides of the camp when it comes to that, and it's still the same symptom: low self-esteem.
This is true. Are those people willing to receive feedback?
Oh boy,
that's the next piece. Are you being a good friend to yourself where you're able to receive feedback? Are you able to acknowledge that it's genuine, caring, kind feedback information and not simply just take it as criticism? Because when you're being your best friend, yes, it's hard to hear people tell you, you're not doing well in a certain area. It's hard to hear someone say something to you that's like, oh my God, it makes me look at myself and question, am I doing my best?
Yes.
But if you're being your own best friend, you'll be able to take a moment to say, you know what, but that person is delivering that information to me from a place of care, not from a place of trying to beat me down. And then you therefore have this drive to want to become your best self because people are giving you genuine, kind, loving feedback.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you finding yourself getting angry, aggressive, offensive?
And just extra defensive,
Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of people, like you said, they have a hard time taking the feedback that they get from others, or close friends.
Yeah.
But even just, do you give feedback to yourself?
Do you give feedback to yourself? That's true.
Do you ask yourself certain questions? Do you take stock of your day, your thoughts, the things you've done, the things you've said when you've interacted with people? I do that a lot. Like, even if I don't tell the person, hey, you know what, the conversation that we had earlier today, I kind of maybe came off a little harsher than I intended to. Sometimes I take time, even if I don't tell that person, to say, to myself, to say, I could have done better there, But how many people are really doing that?
That's true.
How many people really see the value in that? That is the question that I would love for, if you're listening today, leave us a comment, leave us a message, and let us know, how do you take feedback? How do you deal with that? Can you deal with that? Are you going to make it a goal to learn how if you can't?
Yeah.
Are you going to stay in a state where no one can talk to you? No one can tell you anything? I don't think that's healthy at all.
No. And one thing that we can normalize is that, yes, you're going to have that initial shocking reaction. You may not show it. You may just feel it internally, like, wow, that caught me off guard when such and such gave me that feedback. That's normal.
Yeah.
And, I don't really want to say what's normal or abnormal, but, the wine is hitting. So I'm going to say that's normal.
Well, you can say some abnormal things. I mean, you can say some things, we love to hear what you got going on.
I'm just saying, the reality is, it's okay to be in a position where you're caught off guard by feedback someone gives you. Right. But the piece is, can you, like you're saying, like, are you honest with yourself about the feedback that you're giving yourself? Like, are you really taking stock of yourself? Well, are you really taking a moment in that moment when somebody is giving you feedback, are you taking stock of how you're reacting to the feedback? Are you giving yourself some time afterwards to say, you know what? Yes, it shocked me, it hurt me when I heard that information, but I can see where it's coming from. I can see that it's coming from a place of care, and learning how to separate when people care about you from those who do not care about you.
Oh, girl, you're preaching right now, because there's a lot of people, I don't think they can discern. They don't have that ability to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I guess there's many reasons that play into that, but going along with what you're saying with the same feedback piece, on the flip side, having the courage to give it.
That's true.
Having the courage to give it even though you don't want to.
Yes.
And you might be afraid to give it. That does take courage. But if you care about somebody, well, I don't know if you have to do it when you care about somebody, but I'm going to be positive today. If you care about the person's your friend, yes, I think that you should find the courage. If you really feel like they need to know something. Yeah. It's in their best interest to know something, to be aware of something. I don't feel like you're being a good friend if you don't say what it is.
I agree.
So
if you see that I'm struggling with something and you have some gem that you can give me, and you choose to withhold that gem. That's not, to me, I like, what's going on, Casey? You're not being my friend. You know, I want somebody to tell me when my wig is crooked. Give me the feedback.
You always hit me off guard with that. Always hit me off guard.
Give me feedback if my wig is crooked.
But you don't want me to adjust it now, do you?
We're close enough where you could actually adjust my wig and I'm going to be okay with it.
Just shift it a little bit.
Just shift it for me. I'll be okay with that. But I have to be able to take the feedback when you tell me my wig is leaning to the side. I have to be able to accept that, you know what? My friend is telling me that my wig is leaning because she cares about me and she doesn't want me walking around looking crazy.
And then afterwards we could talk about why your wig why? Exactly.
Did you fall asleep?
Did you fall asleep?
Or you commute? Did somebody... I'm not even going to go there. I'm not never mind. But, you know, what happened to your wig?
What happened to your wig? Okay.
You know, and then that kind of ties perfectly into the next subject. The honesty piece.
Yes.
You know, that's another important point when it comes to asking yourself, are you being your best friend? And recognizing when you're not being your best friend, are you able to honestly be honest with yourself?
Yeah.
Are you taking time for yourself, and are you actually addressing the challenges in your life?
Yes.
Or are you just acting like there's nothing going on?
There's a lot of people acting like ain't nothing going on these days, I have to say. Sometimes it gets very, very frustrating, especially when you see, like, you know, and I've had these experiences with many, many, many different people in my life. I don't know, family members, friends, people that, you know, and you just you know that they're not being honest with themselves, and therefore, even if you say something to them, they're not going to hear it. They're not going to receive it. So then, or receive what you have to say. So then it just makes things really, really difficult. But you're absolutely right. Why are you being honest with yourself and taking that time to address? First, you have to acknowledge that you're even having challenges.
Yep.
A lot of people just walk around, you know, ignoring every elephant in the room and blaming other people for the things that happen to them.
Which is true.
So at some point they need to just get real and get honest and address it.
The question is why? Why? What is going on that is making them not want to address it? What is going on within themselves? What is going on around them? Because sometimes the dishonesty with the self is coming from not just within, it's coming from external factors.
Yes.
Because people will sit alone with themselves and be honest with themselves. And then when they get around a certain individual or individuals, they just completely forget everything that they were being real with themselves about.
Yes.
You know, I know that I really feel like I should stop eating pizza every morning. I know that because I can feel the effects that it's having on me. It makes me feel sick after I eat it. All these different things. But then I get around certain individuals that want to encourage me to eat pizza. And then not you. not my friend Casey.
I just want to clarify that.
You know, but
I'm not encouraged. Well,
no, we have our own type. We have good food adventures.
Really
where it's
good
not
food.
just about pizza.
No.
So if it's something as simple as pizza, it has nothing to do with our adventures and our friendships. Pizza is just too basic. But this is for the sake of just to make a point. You know, I get around these pizza eaters and they try to encourage me to continue eating pizza in the morning, even though I was real in myself. And let's go a little bit deeper. Let's move from pizza.
Yep.
I know that I should not be arguing with my significant other
Girl.
all the time
Girl.
about the smallest things.
Girl.
I know that this person is doing the best that they can.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit with myself and I say, you know what? I got to do better. I can see this person is willing to make our relationship work. And I'm a crazy person. I'm a crazy person for the sake of this conversation. I'm not a crazy person in real life, y'all.
I know you're not crazy.
Not crazy in real life. So let me put myself in the space of being in a crazy significant other. I have a person that I'm with who is really doing their best to try to make the relationship work. I sit with myself and I know that I shouldn't behave that way. But when I get around my co-workers at work, they're like, man, these men ain't ish.
Oh boy.
And although I know
men haters.
Exactly, although I know that this person is doing their best, I'm sitting here saying to myself, I'm going to still argue with them anyway because my friend said that. It's okay. I know I shouldn't be drinking every single day. I sit with myself and I know that drinking every day is causing problems in my life with my family and my friends.
Putting orange juice and wine together
every afternoon. And I sit with myself and I know that I am tired of seeing my family suffering because I'm putting my orange juice and my vodka together.
Vodka.
But when I go hang out with my homeboys after work, I don't have that drink. So people will be honest with themselves, from the slice of pizza to the realizing that they're being toxic in their relationship, to the drinking, and then get around people and forget to be honest with themselves. So really taking a moment to look within and say, well, why am I being dishonest with myself?
And I just want to say, I'm like, maybe some of the reasons have to do with facade. What has to do with the look. You want to look a certain way. You want to give people a certain impression about your life.
Yes.
So you keep hanging around these people like you don't have a problem.
Yes.
And you know that there's a problem. And that lack of honesty is killing you.
My friend, you dropping some...
I'm dropping it.
You dropping the ways to heal.
Boom, bash, boom. All the bombs coming down today.
Drop them.
Dropping them. Because a lot of people, they don't want to hear. You see, they want people to be soft with them. My mom's never going to listen to these podcasts, but I could be wrong. But I think, and we talk about this all the time. You know, I say this all the time. I'm the product of a mom that does not really is not a BSer. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you're a product of somebody that's not a BSer, it's hard sometimes not to just say it. And it doesn't mean like, okay, it doesn't mean, oh, I don't have problems, or I don't have like a drinking problem, but other issues, that I'm working on now with health and eating and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm able to sit down and be like, yeah, I'm not supposed to do that. And you're not supposed to do that. Yeah. But you got too many people out there, they were, I don't know, raised with like kid gloves or something. You say these things to them, it's too much. Like you're hurting their feelings by telling them the truth. Why should the truth hurt your feelings? Why? Sure. You need to hear it. Put the bottle down. No, you shouldn't be drinking that. You need to have somebody in your life that tells you that. And if you never had it, here you go. Yeah. I'll be that no-nonsense person that you didn't have. No problem. Glad you tuned in to get some. Get it. Go. Don't put it back down, though. Actually use it. Take it. Take the strength to do what you need to do. Man, Kiki, you just got me started.
Casey, tell them how to be your best friend.
Well, you know what? That is the great question. What does that mean? How can you do it? Well, there's no one way to do it, right? But we're going to try to go into some ways where you could potentially just start, right? Mm-hmm. So how are you going to focus on your healing, right? How are you going to actually do the work? I always say this over and over again. What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you doing each day in order to do something different towards your goals? And we're going to get into it. right? So the main point of this with being your own best friend is that you've got to have a plan. Okay, with anything that you're doing, going to school, getting any type of success in your life, business, career, whatever, you've got to have a plan. Why not have a plan for this too? You've got to get to the truth of the matter of what is going on, where you are, and where you want to go. If you don't take the time to do that, I just refer to it as willy-nilly living. Who the heck? I just feel like you shouldn't play Russian roulette with your life. I always say I don't like when parents play Russian roulette with their kids. You just put everything to chance. You need to have a plan for your kids. You need to have a plan for yourself. You need to have a plan for your marriage, relationship, whatever you're trying to do. You need to have a plan. A lot of people just think that things just come together. That's not the way it works. If you leave it to the world will give you some stuff back that you don't really want.
This is true.
Plan. Have a plan. Don't be afraid to get one. Number one, first thing you need to do, first and foremost, okay? If you are realizing that you are not being your own best friend, first thing I suggest that you should do, don't re-traumatize yourself. Now, what the heck does that mean? You don't want to keep sitting and lamenting in the thoughts that, well, I suck. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Blah, 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 blah. You don't want to keep playing that sad song in your head over and over. I totally understand that everybody needs their time to sit down, think about what they're doing. Maybe even need to cry a little bit. I've done that because sometimes you get to a point where you're like, enough is enough. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of going the same circle. So therefore, you got to let it out. That chemical release of releasing tears. Don't think of it as being weak. Okay? The chemical release that your body needs to do.
Yes.
Okay? As a human being, is to release that tension, release those emotions, release those tears, realize that you have emotions about a particular thing that you don't feel right about in your life. However, after you take that time, don't keep on thinking about it. Don't keep on sitting there thinking about the same thing. Try to learn and figure out a way to shift your mind into something else, more positive. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
And a lot of people have difficulty doing this. Now, how can they do this? There's many, many tools to do. Maybe going to therapy is one tool.
Yes, and one thing that people have to stop doing is stop telling people to see a therapist as if it's an insult. Like if you see a person that's going through a hard time, stop saying, you know what, man, you need a therapist. Homegirl, you need to see a therapist. It's not an insult. It's not a way to try to belittle or diminish what a person is experiencing. If you're going to tell someone to see a therapist, tell them from a place of care.
Yes,
it's therapy. Everybody can benefit from therapy, and it's very important, especially for the Black culture, to shake off this whole belief that therapy means that you're crazy.
Yes,
it's a place where you can go to get some tools from an outsider looking in.
Yes,
and it
absolutely.
in that whole insult of go see a therapist is literally stopping people from getting the help and the support that they need to fix their own individual lives, repair their families, repair their relationships. There are a lot of people that are literally dying because they did not get the tools that they would have gotten if they had sought out therapy. You know, there are so many benefits.
Yes.
And there really has to be a removal of this stigma that's placed on therapy.
I agree.
So I'm glad that you mentioned therapy as a way of helping people to stop re-traumatizing themselves. Some people can't do it on their own.
Thank you. And it's okay to recognize that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even they feel like, oh, I will just do it. I will just do it. No, how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it?
And it may not even need to be a therapist.
Exactly.
It could just be someone that it's a part of your village.
The village.
The village. Hey, KC is a part of my village.
Well, you're a part of mine.
Well, thank you. We it doesn't necessarily have to be a therapist. It could just be that friend that is going to be real with you. And going back to the beginning, you'll be able to accept feedback from that friend.
Yes.
And their honest feedback.
Yes.
But go on, my friend.
Yes. So yeah, I agree with everything you just said. It's very, very, very true. And the stigma needs to stop. And I think that once we get to a place, and I think people are doing better. I think people are doing better. You see a lot more, especially Black people thinking about it, doing it.
Yes.
You see reality shows where they're, with their therapists and stuff now, and you see that it helps them.
Absolutely.
Well, some people it ain't helping them, so they need to move on to another tool. I'm just gonna be honest. There's some of these real wild housewife ones, they going to therapy and they ain't doing nothing for them. But once again, it is a good tool if you work it. If you're not just, if you're not gonna go just to go because you want someone to listen to you because you have some sort of narcissistic thing going on. If you are earnestly, genuinely going to go to therapy and do it in a way where you believe, you're going to really believe that, you know what, I'm going to be open to what's happening, what the therapist suggests and the tools that are, given, then yes, I feel like it is a great, great option, especially when you find a therapist that you are comfortable working with.
Yes.
So, yes, absolutely. The next thing I want to get into, setting an end date for your pain. So you need to strategize your liberation from that trauma event, the emotional issue that you're dealing with. You need to set an end date for that. That goes along with the lamenting, but kind of in a different way. So setting an end date is telling yourself, look, I know I'm going through a hard time right now. I know I'm dealing with X amount of this or whatever. By next year, I want to be in this position, right? So therefore, when you put a date on it, you will do the things necessary to work towards it. Same thing like if you say, okay, I know I want to be a certain size by this date. Well, what are all the things that you need to do in order to eat healthy, do this, leading up to that time to get you there? That's true. There was a time where we were talking and we talked about the fact that people who go into, and you could go into them more, people that go into different inpatient therapy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
90 days, 30
The 90 days, 30 days.
But there's an end date on that, but there's no end date on you and your emotional pain that you are also trying to liberate yourself from.
Yes. So
this helps you to keep yourself accountable. If you say to yourself, I want to be at this stage. At this stage, I don't want to cry every day. By February, I don't want to wake up and cry every day. Well, what the heck do I have to do to get over that and to get to that goal?
Yeah.
I don't want to wake up every day drinking that from the bottle every day. What do I have to do in order to get to that goal so by February I can achieve that goal? I think a lot of people overlook the idea of set a date for your pain, an end date for your pain. And it's just a liberating thought overall.
Absolutely. It's just that accountability piece.
Yes.
And then it's also there are people that find motivation in seeing that they're getting closer to the end of something.
Yes.
So just having it written somewhere. This is the end date of my pain. Like I'm going to, of course, emotions are what they are. So there still could be some sadness, but you set another end date. Like you see what you take stock of. Well, when I got to this first end date, I felt way better than I did when I initially started this. It makes me think about when I used to work with like teenagers. I would work my students or my clients, depending on the setting I was in. They'll meet with me.
Yeah.
Before I even get started, I'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 feeling really low and 10 feeling amazing. What do you feel?
Yeah.
And then I'll ask them that same question at the end of the session. And if they told me that they came in feeling like a 2, and by the end of the session they felt like a 3, which is closer to that 10, that's something to celebrate.
Yes.
if you get to your end date and you know, like, okay, you're not completely over the traumatic experience that you experienced, but you know that you feel way better.
Yeah.
Celebrate that, and then give yourself another target date.
Yes.
Give yourself, but don't give yourself too many extensions, depending on what it is. Depending on what it is, because that goes back to what your point is about really making sure you end the trauma. Yeah. Depending on what that trauma is, depending on what the situation is, don't give yourself too many extensions. Really get into that habit of making sure that you have this set date that you really want to end the pain. Yes. But then also being patient with yourself, understanding that, okay, if it's not completely gone by that date, you need to be in the process of at least getting to the end period. Yes. And that goes very well into knowing your limits, which is the next thing to keep in mind. Set your limits and knowing what you can deal with emotionally. Setting the end date for your pain, it's great. It helps to give accountability, take stock of each milestone that you reach. It's a great part of the plan. But then you need to know your limits while you're making that plan. Yes. So you don't want to set goals that are too high and too beyond. You want to do your best to figure out, well, what do you think you can deal with emotionally? What are the baby steps? Okay, those mini steps that you can take towards that goal. That, to me, it means that you have to take time to know what can you deal with. That's okay, true. Because you want to set yourself up for success. You don't want to just do something huge, and then if it doesn't work out, then you feel like a failure, and then you have to start back over again. This is true. Knowing your limits was that point. And now the next point, though, which a lot of people, I think it holds them back a lot. You need to get rid of what I refer to as self-imposed FOMO. FOMO. Fear of missing out. Okay? And replace it with JOMO. JOMO. Sounds like a good drink. Yeah, it is. We should make up a drink named JOMO. We should make up a drink named JOMO. But yeah, the joy of missing out. That's what JOMO stands for. Okay? And I say all of this to say, get comfortable with saying no to things. Yes. All right? Learn to press what I'm calling the universal red button in the call. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about this, because we're gonna touch a little bit on some bad relationship communications. Okay. Yes. Now I'm gonna go there. Okay, I'm gonna go there, Kiki. Go there, my friend. I'm thinking of a situation. I'm thinking of a friend. Oh, Casey. Who is this friend? The friend. The friend. And then when I say the red button, let me just preface this by saying the red button is the end the call button. Yes. It's the same on iPhone as it is for Android. This is true. But a lot of you out there, you have people that's calling you and harassing you, and you refuse to press that button. You refuse to hang up the phone. You refuse to block them. And you know why you're doing that? Because you have some sort of weird FOMO. Weird fear of missing out on some potential good relationship from a horrible person. That's one way of FOMO. See, people think about FOMO as, oh, I like to go out and my friends are going out and leaving me or something like that. And you don't want to be home or left out of some activity. Well, I'm going to tell you about some FOMO where people are making up fantasies in their minds. Okay? I'm not talking about no freaky fantasies. I'm talking about fantasies of relationships. They are setting up white picket fences with people who don't deserve to even be close to the fence. Okay? You're not going to have a house and happy home with somebody that does not do anything for you, beats down your self-esteem, maybe emotionally and physically, okay? You're not going to make a happy home with those people. Hang up the phone, block them, get them out of your life. I don't care what you have to do. Stop being afraid to do it. The person is not going to change. Yeah, I said it. Oh, KC. There's too many people and friends throughout my whole life. I'm talking about even when I was a teenager, Kiki. Even when I was a teenager. And it was just so hard to get,
like friends of mine to just stop. The boy don't like you. The girl don't like you.
Yes.
The girl don't like you. They're not treating you right. Whether it's a boy or a girl. Whether it's a man or a woman.
Yes.
Whether it's your own damn parents, brother, sister, cousin, Mookie, Tookie, Bookie.
All of them.
Pookie. All of them. If they are not treating you right, get them out your life. You're not missing anything. Get some Jomo in your life. Get the joy you're missing out of BS.
And don't let people like trick you into this turn the other cheek way of living.
Jesus, help me. How they misuse the Bible.
Misusing the Bible.
A fake Christian episode.
Y'all be ready for that one.
Watch for it, because I'm getting tired of them high holy roly fake fools misquoting the Bible for their own purposes.
Yes.
And sitting there, they doing it to their kids. They're doing it to their partners. Turn the other cheek. They want you to roll over and just take crap.
Take whatever somebody has to give you in the name of Jesus. It's basically what they're saying.
Lies. And you have to question, why is that person telling you that? That's what you need to do.
Yes.
Look back into their history and see, why do you think that person has that mindset? How did they grow up? What kind of crap did they go through? You got a lot of people out here. I'm going there. You got a lot of people out there. Misery Love Company.
Yes,
remember that, people. Remember that for this brunch. Misery Love Company. And so they don't want to see you happy. Okay? They want to see you beat down, because they behinds was beat down. You see, I censored myself. I didn't say that other word.
Oh, what other word? Let me get it out.
ASS. They ASS was beaten down.
Yes.
And they don't want you to be happy. So they you come to them for advice, and they give you the wrong advice on purpose.
Oh, yes.
Yes. The wrong advice on purpose, because they don't want to see you happy. Why should you be living better than them? You got to be careful of those people, okay? We're talking about
will be your own relative.
Your own relative.
Neighbor, whatever.
Neighbor, all of them.
All of them. Go ahead. Yeah, you should make it work with so-and-so who's acting a fool.
Come on.
And I'll even separate it from relationships for a second.
Go there.
Go ahead and apply for that job.
Oh boy.
That
Oh boy.
The company we have a job that we worked at. Now, if I was out here encouraging people to apply to the job where we met at, I ain't a good friend.
Vengeful workplace people.
I'm not being a good friend.
Ooh.
There are people that will, and there are people who will tell you not to set yourself up in a position for success because of the whole Misery Loves Company thing.
Yes.
It's not even just as directly as them telling you to do something that will make you be miserable. They will tell you not to do something to see you miserable. And that one is a little bit tricky, because they'll do it under the guise of them caring about you, telling you, no, don't do that, because it might not work out. Maybe you shouldn't make that big move, because what if you don't have any supports out there? I know I had a couple of people tell me some things when I had to make a major leap of faith to move 2 states away. Don't do that. It might not work out. Because those individuals just don't want you. Fear of missing out, fear of missing out on the fun that you may have, or it's just so many different things that come with it, that they will tell you to not do something that could align you with your goals. Yes. Problematic. Misery Loves Company.
Yeah.
Hot mess.
And it's time for that to stop. But you know what, everybody? It's time for you, me, all of us to keep at the forefront of our minds to look out for those people.
Yes.
Okay, sometimes people are not on guard enough. You got to be vigilant, okay, with the people around you. You have to be vigilant about it. You have to actually think about it. Think about the person, okay? And even if it doesn't matter if they're a generally nice person, think about the advice that they're giving you every time. Where is it coming from? Why are they saying this?
Yeah.
Are they able to separate their feelings from what you, feel about yourself and the goals that you have for yourself. That's important.
And is that person being honest with themselves? Because sometimes a person can give advice and it may not be the best advice.
Right.
But that person can acknowledge, like, you know what? I gave that advice because of my own personal feelings. I'm sorry. That is somebody who is not only looking out for you, but also doing their own internal work to be able to understand that, you know what, that advice that I just gave you was not best.
Right.
So, yes, definitely taking into account, well, why are these people giving you this advice? Why are these people making these suggestions? What happened in their past? All of these different things is important. But you, as a person on the giving end, not just on the receiving end, you on the giving end, take a moment to stop and ask yourself, well, when you give somebody advice, why are you giving them that advice?
Exactly.
Are you giving advice because there's a part of you that will have FOMO? Well, you know what? Be honest with your loved one and say, I am fearing missing out. Like, I fear missing out. So don't even give them advice if you know that you cannot give them the best advice because you might have FOMO.
Yes. That is so many people need to understand that. And just going on to the next one. You got to stop caring about facade and looks.
Yes.
Okay? Once you stop caring about facade and looks, I'm talking fake images, get off the Instagram, stop looking at other people's likes and this and that and the way they look or whatever. Oh, these person seems like they're further along than me. You got to stop that. You have to focus on who you, yourself, okay?
Yes.
Stop driving yourself crazy trying to look a certain way, okay? For others. And on the way you want to look for yourself.
This is true.
Okay? For some of you younger folks out there, stop trying to do stuff to be cool. It's killing you.
Yeah.
If it's not killing you now, it's going to kill you later. Stop trying to fit into a certain crowd.
It ain't cool to look like a fool.
Man, that needs to be on a shirt. Coming soon, we're going to have brunch with Kiki and Casey merch.
There we go.
We're gonna remember that one and put that one on a shirt because many of y'all need to put that on wear that on every day.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the biggest things that I think I just want to impart from that whole section, this whole topic. You really need to just focus on yourself and stop caring about facades. Actually look to figure out who you are and your genuine self and who you want to be.
You know what? Let me drop a food for thought.
Oh, yes, please do.
Food for thought. Going back to the whole piece of when are you not being your own best friend? What does that look like? Well, you need to ask yourself this question. Or maybe not even ask your question. Just think. You need to think to yourself, if I'm not actively doing the things such as being healthy, taking into account my self-esteem, being able to receive feedback, and then also being honest with myself. If I cannot do those things with myself, how am I being a good friend to others? How am I how can I make sure that I have a conversation about health, self-esteem, and being receptive to information and being honest to others if I can't have that with myself?
Yes.
So take a moment and really digest this food for thought.
Yes.
Digest this and really ask yourself, am I being a better friend to others than I am being to myself?
Yes. Yes.
And if you are being a better friend to others than to yourself, ask yourself why. Start to do some internal work. Start to look at exactly what Casey talked about, which is focus on healing yourself. Do those things.
Absolutely. And I say it one more time. It's important for people to understand, or at least try to figure out, what are you reading, what are you watching, and what are you listening to? you need to really think about those things.
Yes.
And figure out what can you do in those 3 categories to help your life, enhance your life, make it better, help you come up with strategies, give you ideas, and help you to feel like, okay, I'm moving along in my life in a positive way.
Yes.
So, maintenance and self-care, Kiki.
Yes.
Yeah, we've gone over the things that we need to do and that we suggest that people should do to focus on healing. How do you maintain the good efforts that you've made?
Well, I think about how you said some people need to have a shirt saying that, it's not cool to be a fool. They need to wear it daily. Well, implementing daily strategies. Yes. Are you writing in your journal? I know that that's something that helped me whenever I'm in a space where I felt like I wasn't being my own best friend.
Same here.
Journaling, praying, reading scripture, meditating, reading words of affirmation, doing those things daily to constantly set yourself up for your day. Putting yourself in a good space first thing in the morning. I always think about, we spoke about this like a while ago, where you were like, a lot of people roll over and go straight to Facebook or Instagram. And it's not that there's so many inspiring things that are on Facebook and Instagram, but some people are rolling over to Facebook, Instagram first thing in the morning to start comparing themselves to other people.
Yes. Preach.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
If you have a specific page that's empowering that you want to listen to or look at, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
My page, Watering Your Roots. But we'll get to that another time.
Yeah, we're going to really, because you got some good stuff that you're cooking up with the Watering Your Roots Instagram page and company that you're starting, and it's going to help so many people.
Thank you so
many people.
Much. Thank you.
And we listeners out there, you stay tuned, because you're going to want to be a part of the growth of that company.
Yes.
And the things that are going to come from there are going to be life-changing for many of you. So I'm really, really happy that you're doing that.
So thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
If set yourself up in a space to go to Instagram or Facebook pages that are aligned with what you want.
Yeah.
It really does tie into exactly what you say about, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to on a day-to-day?
Daily. Yes.
So that's number 1.
Yeah. Therapy and support. We mentioned it before. Having a neutral person to talk to. We also talked about that.
Yeah.
Very important things to keep in mind.
Keeping certain things and people out of your life if you need to, especially if you're recognizing that these individuals or these things are impeding your growth. It definitely goes back to your point about pressing a universal red button.
Absolutely. And celebrating your growth. As we talked about before, having your milestones, setting an end date for your pain, making yourself accountable along the way, baby steps, and taking the steps to get to a healthier you.
Yes.
Okay? Mentally and physically.
And then pay it forward. Share your knowledge and help others. That's what, we're having fun. We're laughing. My buzz from my wine is starting to die down. So I feel like a human being again. But, I know I'm not one of those people that's drinking away my problems, okay?
No, not at all.
Just
not
having a nice little wine because this is brunch.
Listen, this
Kiki
is brunch.
and Casey.
We do what we do. We do what we do. Chicken and waffles and all.
There we go.
And our drinks.
Oh.
And speaking of drinks, we have a drink for thought.
Lay it down for us.
We're calling it the Make Your Mind Right Margarita. Okay? It's got a little bit of common sense. Mixed with a little bit of courage, a little bit of tequila.
Oh, shit.
And getting your therapy and support tools in place. That's the Make Your Mind Right Margarita. Drink it up.
I want it.
Slurp it up. That's where it's going. So, we thank you so much. This was really enjoyable, Kiki.
I love fun.
This episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to this episode for myself because I feel like I was blessed from it.
Yeah, same.
100%. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the Brunch with Kiki and KC podcast. We are so glad that we were able to spend this time with you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Absolutely.
See ya.
See you later. Thank you.